Center of West Linn, Oregon. It's July 5th, and we are so happy each of you has found your way here. This is um, this is the day that the Lord has made, and it is each of us are here by divine appointment. My name is Jan Carruthers. I'm your service assistant today. And on behalf of the board and the worship team and everybody in this community, we welcome each and every one of us today here. We're pleased to share our hearts together in the philosophy of unity, and we believe that each of us dwells in and as spirit. And each of us is here today by divine appointment. If you're new to Unity or Unity of West Linn, we invite you to our website. It's www.worldhealing.org. For all kinds of information, you can put yourself on the mailing list. You can learn all about us, and there's so many things that we're offering even now in this extraordinary digital time. Today, I'm particularly excited that our guest speaker today is our Transitional Unity Minister, Rev Cheryl Mays, who will be giving us our opening prayer.
Thank you, Jan. So I want to show you something. I'm going to bring it up here. This is a silver Celtic tree of life. And you may not know, but this is a gift from all of you, and particularly the board, to me, since this is my last Sunday with you for a while anyway. And it has a beautiful emerald in there on one of the branches. And so for our opening prayer, I want us to just think about what it is to be part of the tree of life. So close your eyes if you are comfortable. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. And this time, as you breathe in, give thanks for the actual oxygen that comes from all the trees all around us. And as you breathe out, know that you are giving back to the trees and the other plants exactly what they need. And that is the balance of life in which we find ourselves. Sometimes we feel really unbalanced, but the tree of life reminds us that as its branches reach up into the sky, we also can lift our hearts towards all that is the goodness and the love that is the presence and power of God. And that at the same time, we, like the tree, reach our roots down into this world right here. And so rooted, we are stable. We are able to be where we need to be love right where we are. It brings gratitude to our hearts and energy that we share with the world. Thank you. Thank you, Divine Spirit. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we will bring up our center mission. Most of you know it, I know. However, it's important for us to say it with the feeling that is behind this mission. Together, the Unity Center is a ministry where people of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs celebrate the one common spiritual thread that lives in every heart. Thank you for embodying that mission in our community. I'm very excited to hear that each week. So, a few announcements, and they're rather exciting things because in this time where we have been sheltering in place, it felt for a while like that we were kind of isolated. But there are two classes coming up that I really want to highlight for us. First of all is Sandra Combs' class. For those of you who were not with us last week, Sandra is our licensed Unity teacher. She serves the entire region, and she's a great contributor. She's holding a class that is going to be Living Unity in Turbulent Times. It's a back to the basics but high discussion class, and it will occur starting at noon on the next 4 Sundays. So noon to 1:30, 90 minutes, fast, compact, conversation class. So the way to sign up for that, if you got the e-news, the link is there. We'd like to have you contact either Sandra, her phone number is there, or contact Sharon at the center in the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is by love offering, and because of the way we're operating, it needs to be done on PayPal or by check. So those are the 4 classes starting the 12th. That's this coming Sunday after church. You have about an hour for lunch and then start class. The other class, for many of you, remember Rabbi Brian Mayer, who has been with us a couple of times, and lots of people follow him, get his newsletter. Rabbi Brian and a colleague of his are doing a class called How to Be an Anti-Racist. Perhaps they're following the book, but it is the thrust of the class is being more than an ally, being more than an ally. That class is on July 11th, that's next Saturday at 8 a.m. And to find out how to sign on to it, it's Rabbi, RABBI underscore Brian, BRIAN, at ROTB. That stands for his organization, Religion Outside the Box, rotb.org. And you can also find it. We can send you the information, but we don't have the sign-on information. So you need to follow that up yourself. Thrilled to announce that we have three wonderful new people who have given their willingness to be board members for this coming term. Karen Anderson, Joanne Carruthers, and Marilee Payne. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you and we appreciate you. Join Nancy Lilly, Jim Lathrop, and Joyce Jackson, who has agreed to stay on for 1 more year as treasurer, and thank you for that. So for each person who is willing to step up, we are so grateful. And we are grateful to Bev Haynes and Jackie Bauer, who have been serving for the last 2 years. They will be leaving the board in August at the annual meeting, and the annual meeting is, I think, August 9th, but you'll hear about that lots. The women's group is meeting on next Tuesday, the 14th, not this Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 14th at 6:30, and Joanne has sent out the Zoom link. We're going to be talking about how are you doing in the isolation and how can you be helping others? So that's a great topic. Looking forward to that. And so I believe the men's group is meeting as well, but you'll hear about that, I'm sure, from Jim, who is, I understand, recovering. The last thing, and that's the end of the announcements. At this point, I'd like to bring up another slide. This is the point where we would do the daily word. And instead of the daily word, I am bringing to our attention the Unity Worldwide Ministries Prayer for Global Health. And together, we know that God's love, we know that God is a love that has no end and a power that knows no bounds. God's healing power of divine life is restoring, healing, and revitalizing our world in this very moment. We let go of any fears or anxieties, and we affirm that all are safe, healthy, and protected. We bless all those who support us in maintaining vibrant, radiant health. We express divine life in all we think, say, and do. We bless our global family with radiant health, peace of mind, and abundant love. And I would add, we express our gratitude and love to each and every person who shares space, wears masks, is careful and thoughtful and grateful for our well-being. Our affirmation, as you see there, is my heart knows well-being, no matter the circumstances. Thank you.
I breathe in and know. I breathe out and let go. Here in my heart, that's the right place to start. I just breathe. I breathe in to be. I breathe out and see what is true, right and real. I'm alive, I am healed. I breathe, just breathe. Here in this moment, I'm in the flow. Here in this moment, I let go. Each blade of grass has an angel leaning over, whispering, grow, 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 grow. I breathe in and know. I breathe out and let go. Here in my heart, that's the right place to start. I breathe, just breathe. I breathe.
Thank you. Last week, Sandra's talk was called Breath is Freedom. And this time is so much about breath is life. So I love that song. So I'm going to introduce somebody who really needs no introduction to us because she has been with us and a part of this community since mid 2018. Reverend Cheryl Mays jumped in, said yes, when we were working hard to learn how to be leaders ourselves and coming close to the beginning of finding a new minister. She has been with us for so many steps, been supportive of the board, been inspiring to us, and personally given some of the most memorable talks over these last couple of years. So, as they say, without further ado, we are so happy to have Reverend Cheryl Rorette Mays. Thank you.
We've all transformed during this time, haven't we? Yes. Do you realize when you said 2018, we've actually been working together longer than that. I've been working with you. It was, I think, August or September of 2017, right before Victoria retired, and I came to lead a board training. And in the middle of that time that we were together, it became obvious that my wonderful curriculum that I had brought was really not going to be that helpful. And so I just put it aside and asked, what are your thoughts as you begin to imagine yourselves without Victoria, the founding minister? And so that was, I'd say, the first of a number of open, honest conversations that we have had together in this relationship that we've shared. So I've come back many times since then. Jan, I'm so privileged that we got to work together a number of times doing workshops. And I was so excited for you when Reverend Evan became your part-time minister. And then I grieved with you when that ended so suddenly, as he received a full-time call to ministry back in Wisconsin. And I know that some of you wanted him to be involved along the way, but our ethics say that a minister should stay kind of away as much as possible for the first year. So you're coming up on that, but that's kind of why we didn't involve Evan too much in what we've been doing, because that's part of our releasing. So then Levin was gone, and a year ago, about this time, maybe next month, I was back, and I had retired from Unity of Yakima by that time. I had become a credentialed transitional specialist. Woo! And so that training, I hoped, would come in handy for us to work together some more. And the agreement was that I would come and speak about once a month and meet with the board and help us all with processes so that you could continue to figure out who you are and how you will be the Unity Center of West Linn now. And some of the things that I discovered along the way for myself was it's hard to be a transitional minister from 200 miles away and only be with you once a month. It seems like we lose so much between one time and the next time. So progress felt really slow. And I thought that was slow. And then COVID came. Oh my gosh. And I want you to know what I have noticed during this time that we've been apart from each other and yet together. During the time that I've been with you, the almost 4 years. One of the things that I've noticed is that the board has truly stepped into team leadership. You kept wanting me to do more, and I kept wanting you, board, to trust your abilities to work things out together. And so I remember especially one town hall meeting that we had back in May that was very chaotic because I wanted to see where you all were. What was in the room? What were your thoughts, especially as we were talking about the building and the lease and what were we supposed to do? And I know it's frustrating for some of you. It was a little frustrating to me too because it got out of my control. And the next meeting was so wonderful because I wasn't leading the next meeting. And I watched as each board member had their specific part to lead. You were clear and prepared, and then you even were able to have a very masterful question and answer time at the end. Yes, yes. So I'm so proud of your growth, board members, Bev and Nancy and Jim, Joyce and Jackie. It's been really wonderful to watch you grow together, even while we've done all of our meetings by Zoom since January, really. And then the announcement that Jan made today that people are ready to step into being new board members. That is such a great sign. And it looks like you'll have a full complement of 6 board members. Another yes, way to go, Unity Center. I have watched your willingness as a board and a congregation to have some of the difficult conversations that were needed regarding the use of the building, how to meet your financial obligations these days when finances seem to be dwindling at times. And some of the other decisions that you're going to have to make, like even when do we open? What's the best way to move forward as we move through this pandemic? And I hope you will hold on to the amazing way that things work out when you are willing to sit down and share your concerns with each other with respect and kindness and patience. Finally, I have seen your resilience as a spiritual community. I think of how quickly you decided, okay, we're going to have our services on Zoom. We don't know how to do it, but let's go ahead and do it. And I hope you will hold on to that resilience because I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to make use of that in the times to come. We are not called to do this ministry perfectly. I think of these words from the Apostle Paul when he was writing to the church in Corinth. The church in Corinth was given him a lot of challenges, shall we say. They were struggling in a lot of ways. And Paul told them, and I want to read this from the Message by Eugene Peterson. Remember, our message is not about ourselves. All we are is messengers. It started when God said, light up the darkness, and our lives filled up with light as we saw and understood God in the face of Christ. And remember, we are all the face of Christ, all bright and beautiful. Paul goes on and says, if you only look at us, you might well miss the brightness. We carry this message around in the unadorned clay pots of our ordinary lives. 2 Corinthians chapter 4. I love that. We carry this message of the truth of unity in a world that's hurting in the unadorned clay pots of our ordinary lives. That tells me that I don't have to do it perfectly. Then I don't have to look a certain way. That right in the middle of our social distancing because of COVID and the social angst at the obvious and painful imbalances in our culture, we are there to show up as light bearers in our ordinary lives. Ordinary people becoming messengers of divine light and love. there are so many different ways that that can happen and show up. I want to share a true story with you because it touched me, and I thought, well, it might say something to us too. On Kent Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, there is a school that is especially for disabled children. It's called Shush, Chush. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I'll pronounce it Shush. And some children stay in the Shush school for their entire school career, and some people are able to be mainstreamed into conventional schools. So one night there was a Shush fundraising dinner, and the father of one of the students delivered a speech that would never be forgotten by all those who attended. After he had extolled the school and its wonderful staff, he cried out, "Where is the perfection in my son Shea? Everything God does is done with perfection, but my child cannot understand things as other children do. My child cannot remember facts and figures as other people do. Where is God's perfection?" The audience was just shocked by that question and pained by the father's anguish and stilled by his question. And then the father said, "I believe that when God brings a child like this into the world, the perfection that God seeks may be in the way people react to this child." And then he told them about an experience he and Shea had had. One day they were out taking a walk past a park, and some other kids were playing baseball, and Shea asked his dad, "Do you think they would let me play?" Well, Shea's father knew that his son wasn't at all athletic, and most of his boys wouldn't want him on their team. But he also understood that if he were chosen to play, how much that would help him to feel like he belonged. So Shea's father approached one of the boys in the field and asked if Shea could play. And the boy looked around, to see if his teammates could give him any clues. And they didn't say anything or do anything. So he just took matters into his own hand and he said, "Well, we're losing by 6 runs and the game is in the 8th inning. So I guess he can be on our team. And we'll try to put him up to bat in the 9th inning. So Shea's father was just ecstatic as Shea smiled so broadly. He was told to put on his glove and go out to play at short center field. And in the bottom of the 8th inning, Shea's team actually scored a few runs, but they were still behind by 3. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Shea's team scored again. And now there were 2 outs. The bases were loaded with the potential of winning if a hit was made. Shea was scheduled to be the next person up to bat. Would the team actually let him bat with so much on the line and give away their chance to win the game? Well, surprisingly, Shea was given the bat. Now, everyone knew that it was all but impossible because Shea didn't even know how to hold the bat right, let alone hit with it. However, as Shea stepped up to the plate, the pitcher moved a few steps forward to lob the ball softly so Shea might at least be able to make contact with it. So the first pitch came in and Shea swung clumsily and missed. So one of Shea's teammates came up to him and together they held the bat and faced the pitcher waiting for the next pitch. Well, the pitcher again took a few steps forward to toss the ball softly towards Shea. And as the pitch came in, Shea and his teammate swung at the ball, and together they hit a slow grounded ball to the pitcher. The pitcher picked up the soft grounder, and he could easily have thrown it to the first baseman, and Shea would have been out and the game would have been over. Instead, the pitcher took the ball and he threw it in a high arc to the right field, far beyond the reach of the first baseman. And everyone started yelling, "Shea, run to first, run to first." Well, Shea had never run to first in his life. So he scampered down the baseline, wide-eyed, startled. By the time he reached first base, the right fielder had the ball. He could have thrown the ball to the second baseman who would tag out Shea, who was still running. But the right fielder understood what the pitcher's intentions were, so he threw the ball high and far over the third baseman's head. And everyone yelled, run to second, Shea." And Shea ran towards second base as the runners ahead of him deliriously circled the bases towards home. As Shea reached second base, the opposing shortstop ran to him, turned him in the direction of third base, and shouted, "Run to third." So Shea, as he rounded third, the boys from both teams ran behind him screaming, "Shea, run home." And Shea ran home, stepped on home plate, and all 18 boys lifted him on their shoulders and made him the hero, as if he had just hit a grand slam and won the game for the team. That day, the father said, with tears running down his face, those 18 boys reached their level of God's perfection. Dear ones of the Unity Center of West Linn, I tell you this story because I believe you are also meant to work together to demonstrate love in our world, to reach that level of divine perfection that is within you already, waiting to be revealed. To really lift one another up when you are struggling. I love what the women's group is going to do. To encourage each other, to stop worrying about who's winning and who's getting their feelings hurt or whatever is happening that might get in the way of you being love in this world and helping one another to be reassured of that love, that each of us is perfect, perfectly able to receive it, perfectly able to give it. Back to Paul and what he was telling the unadorned clay pots that we are. He says we've been surrounded and battered by troubles, but we're not demoralized. We're not sure what to do, but we know that God knows what to do. We've been thrown down, but we haven't been broken. We're not giving up. How could we? Even though on the outside it looks like things are falling apart on us, on the inside, where God is making new life, not a day goes by without God's unfolding grace. And we remember grace, that's the gifts that we are given just because of love. I don't know if any of you read Mike Dooley's daily blog called A Note from the Universe, also called Tut, The Universe Talks. And recently one of his notes said, detours, challenges, and crises are simply covers for miracles that had no other way of reaching you. It's all good. Love the universe. May God's unfolding grace and infinite goodness reveal miracles to you as you continue your life together as the Unity Center. This is the moment, and we are the ones God's been waiting for. It has been my joy and my privilege to work with you. And now I'm going to go play with my newlywed husband and have fun together with Jackson. But I hold you in my heart. How could it be any other way? Let's take a minute and go within. There's something that is happening in our world this next week. It begins today. It's called a harmonic convergence. The last time a harmonic convergence happened in Seattle, it was 1987. And that was the beginning of some changes in the world. Within a couple of years, the Berlin Wall was toppled and apartheid was dismantled. So now there is a new virtual harmonic convergence, begins today and goes through July 14th. And I think as we move into our time of meditation, I'd like us to imagine a convergence of all spirits, all humans, and divine beings, and earth creatures coming together as one. As you close your eyes, breathe in. Remember, we are all breathing in the same air. In and again. And as we breathe it out, we share it again and again. Our name is Unity. We are one. One with the one presence and power. The divine mind, the consciousness of all that is. And when we realize that, we realize that power and grace are unlimited, limitless. In a world that looks like that's not true, we hold that truth in our hearts. I invite you to bring a picture into your mind of what a world that works for everyone looks like. What for you would it be like to have our world converge in divine love? And take that picture into a time of silence and offer it. Offer it back to God. May the blessing of this moment, the blessing of life, the blessing of even the challenges. Bring us ever more aware of our oneness in God's love. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Cheryl. What an illuminated being you are. Would you be willing to give us, speak our offering?
Indeed. It is out of hearts of gratitude that offerings come. And you have 30 years together to celebrate. And just know that this community continues because we share with one another. And even we share differently, as you can see there on the screen. Right now, we get to do it by credit card, PayPal, or through a check. And I just really encourage you not to let that go by because you're not sitting there with a plate going by to remind you, but to do that gift for yourself, for our own community. So I invite you to go into your heart and be in gratitude. Be in gratitude. And now we have our offering prayer. Yes. So will you join me in your own quiet, muted way in our offering prayer? God's love in me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive.
As time has unfolded me, it has revealed to me life's nothing less than sublime. With every thought I make, every last breath I take, may I be gracious and kind. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Kindness wash over me, make me a symphony, play every note you can find. Make me reverberate, gently deactivate, slowly flow out of my mind. Find me a melody, dance and let my anthem be. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love cover me. 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 I will not be shaken. I will not be moved. Love cover me. May my heart awaken. Tenderness be proved. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love, 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 love. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love cover me. Light any darkness, love cover me. Right every wrong, cause me to see. Love over hatred, guide me to be faithful and strong. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love, 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 love.
Okay. So we are running to the end of the day here. We have a few more things that just I want to remind you that there are so many members of our community, some who are not here today. Let's reach out and touch those folks with, as the song says, graciousness and kindness. So, Reverend Cheryl, thank you so much for all you've done, for your wonderful message today, and for who you are. Quite frankly, I think about you and your messages often. So thanks to everybody who participates to make this service possible, to make the center possible. As you know, work goes on all of the time. So thank you for all your gifts and blessings to everyone. We invite you back if you are new or are thinking about people who you wish had been here today. Please invite them. If this has been inspiring for you, let's use this time while we have this time, that with the enormous tool of the internet, to reach out, to keep reaching out. Check with the e-news, check with the website, and if you have missed any services in the past, you know they are on YouTube under West Linn Unity Center. I invite you to go to the Big Unity website. There's so many resources on unity.org. And if you are finding the need for prayer any time of the day or night, 24 hours, silentunity.org. And what I also learned is you can sign up to be part of the Silent Unity prayer vigil at any time of the day or night. They welcome people from all over the world to be praying with them during any time. Inviting you next week to come to July 12th, and Reverend Julie Applegate will be speaking. She is our wonderful new transition minister, and she has great ideas. She's a wonderful person, and we're looking forward to having her support us, work with us, and lead us into new territory. So, Reverend Cheryl has offered to stay, actually agreed to stay after the service for 20 minutes or so. So, those of us who can catch up with her and share thoughts, chat, all of that. Remember to call Sandra or sign up. All the information about living unity in tumultuous times is in the e-news that you got this week on Wednesday. So at this point in the service, we take our unity candle, our symbolic ritual, the light that we always have burning through every service. We take this moment in our hearts to blow out the candle, to signify a momentary pause. But we know the light never goes out because we are the light. And at this point, we're going to put up our prayer of protection, and Reverend Cheryl is going to lead us in that as her final touch.
So yes, let us go out with this prayer of transformation and say it with me. The light of God is in us. The love of God moves through us. The power of God transforms us. The presence of God is who we are. Wherever we go, God is, and all is well.
Thank you, thank you. I am going to turn off the recording at this time and remind everybody that we will still be here after.